Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict. My name is Scott. I am the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel. Today, we've got episode 537, The Pirates of the Red Sea and Ice Storms LA again. And it sounds like they're going to keep doing it.
I think still is the better term. Still.
Right. And they will remain in LA, can continue to do whatever it is they want to do. So guys, Joe, how you doing, brother?
I am doing well and good. It's been a fun week. I did a class yesterday for Swan Mountain Outfitters, and only one guy earned the second lieutenant award. His problem wasn't that necessarily that he got lost, that he was a perfectionist. He kept coming up a couple of degrees off, and he just kept staying out in the woods. And I'm like, bro, this is Montana, and there are bears and lions. You don't just spend extra time in the woods when we're timing you, you know. But it was all was well and good. Everyone had fun learning a little bit about map and compass, learned some new skills, and I had fun doing it. So pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. I love, just being able to get out in the woods, even if you're not like directing your energy like you would say to learning land nav. This is a good day. So learning a skill in the woods, nice weather, beautiful terrain, man. I can't imagine a nicer day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a great day to be out walking in the Montana wilderness and out in the Bob Marshall. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when you live in a place like that, why wouldn't you though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of nice areas, Watcher, how's the chicken ranch doing?
It's we're doing pretty darn good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's funny you would say that because literally just last night I was driving over to my neighbor's farm stand and I look over and the sun was hitting the hills just right to where like the part of the hills were lit up and the other part were in shadow, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I grew up in a place that's like world famously pretty, like people come from all over the world to come see it. This is in the right lighting, even this place that a lot of people consider to be like the elbow of the state that I'm in, not a pretty place, not somewhere where you'd send people to, is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Man, sorry, it's cool. You guys need to appreciate your you need to appreciate your locality, not just from a battle plan standpoint, but also from God has blessed you to live where you live.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you got to look at. I think it may sound trite, but the whole idea of stop and smell the coffee, just kind of pausing and just looking at where we are, man. That's, and even when you're not in the perfect place, there's still a lot of great stuff, if you just take time and soak it all in. So, yeah, I think that's a very philosophical way to look at it, and is the correct way too, I think.
You know what? I had an interesting development. So Mrs. Tactical Wisdom is on her way to day 3 at Cabela's, where she's one of the managers.
Oh, cool.
Yesterday, on her second day, she's calling me and she's like, have you heard of True Shot Ammo? I'm like, yeah, the stuff in the polymer cases. She's like, yeah, I get a pretty good discount. What calibers? I'm like, God is smiling upon me.
Joe, hold on a second. I just want to bring something up just to brief. I'm noticing a bit of a pattern. Employment history was a craft store, and now Cabela's.
Yeah.
Are you guys targeting the areas where it will make the most financial sense to get an employee discount?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Very good.
Wow. Okay. Well, I know a man with hookups.
Hey, Watcher, before we get too far afield, did you say you had a third odds and end?
I've been looking for it.
All right, just let me just drop it in there. So into the thing.
Did you want to take that one that I dropped beforehand and just use that as a springboard for a bit of a conversation?
What, I don't know which one. What?
Here, it's in there now.
I've got an odds and ends, sort of.
Yeah.
For those of you looking for some ultimate tactical training in northern Montana, I worked out a deal with Mr. Joel Gaines yesterday, and War Lizard Tactical will be doing a defensive up here. Yeah, you're gonna have to come out for that, Watcher.
I saw something else from War Lizard yesterday that I feel is important to highlight because it was just a single text post and it was important. But it said, hey, if you're out there and you're saying, hey, that's a whole lot of dosh to drop on one event, he has plans and the ability to potentially help you break that up. So contact him if that is what is preventing you from coming out and, quote, getting a guy and training with it.
Yes, get a guy and train with it. But you have to fill out a 4473 or an I-9 when you do that. I'm confused.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it might be a W-2.
All right, I found it. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I knew I'd found something. There it is. All right. Gentlemen, shall we? Before we talk about this, I want to address the chat with something. We were talking about this for a good clip before the show started, and it's not a today topic, but it's one that I would love to get input from you guys on before we sit down and talk about it. Maybe we'll do it Friday. Maybe we'll do it later. We'll see. But we were talking about like AI, and we were joking. Well, I won't say joking. We were just talking about the whole Mecha Hitler Grok thing, and that's kind of funny in a way, kind of sad a little bit too. And we've talked about how woke some of the AIs are. I mean, what was it 2 years ago, Joe, that we gave AI the political compass test, and it came out as like, left of center. Yep. Anyway, so this whole AI thing is really speeding up. And so what I would love to hear from you guys, especially those of you who are in the fan DM group over X, but any kind of, if you've got stories or anything that you want to see us kind of cover when it comes to AI, because the idea is we want to talk about it from the standpoint of like, okay, yeah, it can be a useful tool. And on the good side, it just is going to make us lazy. But on the bad side, it could literally kill us all. And so, that's a kind of like, that's what you call high and right. So we're going to talk about that in the future. And if you guys have any kind of avenues for us to explore on that type of thing, I would love for you to send it to us so they can kind of get it on deck. So, so there's that. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about our first. So, we're going to talk about the Pirates of the Red Sea later, but this is in the Red Sea area, but not part of the whole pirate saga. So we're throwing it as a separate thing. Berlin summons Chinese ambassador after warship targeted German plane with laser. And where did it land, Joe?
The German seamen injected themselves into Djibouti.
Or maybe it was the Chinese seamen injected some German Shisha into Djibouti. I don't know.
Into Djibouti. It was a tight squeeze, but they made it. Hat tip to you in the chat who shared that with us. It is unbelievable. Germany is blistering angry as it summoned the Chinese ambassador after its military alleged a Chinese People Liberation Army vessel or planned People Liberation Army Navy vessel targeted a German aircraft with a laser during a European Union joint operation. Endangering German personnel and disrupting the operation is entirely unacceptable. Germany's foreign minister said in a Tuesday post on X, the Chinese ambassador was summoned to the Federal Foreign Office today. The incident reportedly happened in the Indian Ocean and Red Sea areas amid EU Operation Aspides, which seeks to secure international shipping from piracy. Don't they know that? Don't the Europeans know that they have to name everything English words? Because if it's not English, it's not a real language. Don't they know this?
I guess not.
Yet.
Der Spiegel, yet. Der Spiegel has described that the possible damage is still unclear and it's still being investigated in reference to the German reconnaissance plane of unspecified type, which was apparently operating in the waters off the Yemen's coast. German media reports indicate that the aircraft was approached by a Chinese frigate at the time. Thus, the laser deployment may have been a defensive response, which is not uncommon amongst military vessels approaching approached by an unknown or foreign aircraft. Now, let's be honest. I can't think of any of the hostile actors in that region, Joe, that would approach a Chinese boat with an aircraft like in a threatening manner. I mean,
yeah, there is none. They knew who it was. They struck it on purpose. They're just trying to amp things up all over the world, and they wanted everyone to know they're in that corner of the world, right? Now, the PLAN has been there since the beginning, fighting pirates off of Somalia. So I don't understand the point of this, but it was there. I understand, though, that we do have a transcript of the air traffic from the German plane to air traffic control in Djibouti. It says, Djibouti, I am coming in Djibouti. I don't know. It doesn't sound like proper protocol, but that's what it says.
Squishy Hunter says, well, Djibouti was too hot. The Germans couldn't resist. I mean, with a name like Squishy Hunter, it doesn't surprise me that you would understand this better than most of us. But all right. Let's see. These are details revealed. German Defense Ministry spokesperson said the aircraft involved in the incident earlier this month was a multi-sensor platform plane known as a Flying Eye for its wide-ranging surveillance capabilities over the sea. It is piloted by civilians with military personnel on board. And now that leave it to the Germans to basically say we don't have pilots, so we're just going to hire some civilian contractors to fly our things around. Oh yeah, great. You're not disabusing me of any of these ideas there, Squishy.
Right.
All right. Let's see. In 2018, the Pentagon accused Chinese nationals of shining military-grade laser pointers at U.S. pilots operating out of the U.S. base in Djibouti, which is used for counterterrorism operations in East Africa and Yemen. In one case, 2 pilots in a C-130 cargo plane reportedly suffered minor eye injuries as they came into land at the base. Which, if you remember, Joe, the Chinese and U.S. bases are like literally right down the street from each other, and so it would be really easy for just some dumbass with a high grade laser pointer to be able to potentially dazzle. And let's be honest, they could do it without the Chinese government having any fucking clue. It's like, I'm just going to do this because I can. What are they going to do?
Well, the only thing keeping the Chinese from Djibouti is the Japanese, because the JDF or the JSDF has a base in between the two. So it's an interesting little corner of the world. Literally everyone is there except the Djibouti military. So France has a base right down the road too.
Yeah. All right. Pinochet's helicopter tours for $5 says central and western Massachusetts is just beautiful and clean as your areas. The eastern part of the state will have to wait until after the Civil War to bring in line with the rest. The problem though is that like Massachusetts, I'll use that. I'm sure I've been to Massachusetts. I just can't remember when. But
I don't remember why
or why, right? It was like I think maybe Boston or something. Anyway. The point is that like, it doesn't matter how beautiful Western Massachusetts is. I would never live there, because unfortunately the entire state is the fucking People's Republic. And so the dumb laws from the areas in the East extend to the most beautiful areas in the West. And it's the same thing about California, right? California, let's be honest, you're hard pressed to find a state with as many natural kind of areas of beauty as California, right? And Yet it is absolutely a fucking socialist nightmare to live there. So I would never do that. Or you'd have to pay me a whole lot of fucking money in order to do that. But I don't think anybody could afford it, and I'm definitely not worth it. So, all right, guys. Anything else on this Chinese? I mean, this doesn't surprise me that the Chinese would do this. Like look at the way they respond to the Philippines. Who have every right to be doing the things that they're doing, and they just act with total and even if this is like one of those bad Navy don't do that, like not officially sanctioned kind of actions, I get the feeling that that's not the case. I can't imagine that they go weapons free with their laser pointed at a German airplane unless somebody from higher up has given them the thumbs up, right?
Yeah. There's not a lot of free will in the PLAN.
Not at all. And let's be honest, this aircraft that they're talking about is like probably it looks like a Learjet or something like that, essentially with the bulges on it, right? This is not what you'd call a threatening aircraft. All right. Moving along. Speaking of Germans, government report exposes astronomical crime rates for young foreigners compared to German youth. So this is kind of like a tangentially related story to the ice storm in LA, one we'll be doing later, except for this is, illegal immigrants or immigrants in all manner in Germany. New German federal government statistics indicate that young foreigners are disproportionately represented as suspects in numerous crimes, with particularly significant differences in street crime and shoplifting. Let's see. The suspect burden figure has been compiled by the Federal Criminal Police and publishes in the police crime statistics starting this year. The ratio shows a total number of identified suspects over the age of 8 and is calculated per 100,000 inhabitants per population group. It examines all crimes except for immigration law violations, and the data presents a concerning trend. For German suspects of all age groups, the TVBZ, so that's that kind of ratio, is 1,878. So that's basically 1.8 in 100, right? In contrast, for Syrian suspects, that same rate is 8.2. Per 100, and Afghan suspects are at 8.7, more than 4 times higher. We got a little video here. We can see how these kids are acting in class. Maybe teachers mocked, lessons disrupted, even physical assaults. I'm no longer in control of the situation. I feel like a failure. The children here are just 12 years old. It's not about what they simply write run. It's about a test. Actually, where did you do the? They have absolutely no respect for Western culture. Why should they listen? What are they going to do? I mean, it's, like when you put people who absolutely have completely different cultures and different understanding of reality, how can you expect they were just going to get together? I mean, she's laughing about getting kicked out. Now, tell me you don't see this in American classes. Sure you do. This is a problem we've had forever.
My only response to this is a quote. Your universe means nothing to them. They will not try to understand. They will be tired. They will be cold. They will make a fire with your beautiful oak door.
It's very emotional there, Watcher. I mean, bottom line is these people just don't care, and the parents don't care. That's what's even more important. At least in when you have Americans from different cultural backgrounds, generally we're on the same page, whereas these people know that, No, you don't have to respect the German culture. In fact, we should mock it.
Well, it's not just German culture. It's
Well,
happening here, and
I'm
it's
saying
happening in
in
England, and
case of this story, right? You know, they have
No,
a
it's
very
true.
they have a very particular. Europe has a particular problem with Muslim immigrants, right? Now we don't have that problem in America. We have other cultural problems in America. We have Muslim immigrants, but not to the kind of the percentages that they do. We have immigrants from all over the fucking world. If I'm honest. So, I mean, this is one of those kind of illustrative points that it's not that it doesn't apply to us. It's just that it's happening all over the place. And these people are even less able to handle it than we are. And if you wonder why AFD is growing in popularity, this is it. All right, let me
crap real quick because we mentioned the others. I don't know if we I know that we mentioned the Syrian and for the Moroccans it's 19.
Yeah. Let me get down there. However, when the data is compared amongst young people, the disparity is even more pronounced. Syrians are 14 and between 14 and 18-year-olds are 5 times more likely to commit a crime than Germans in the same age group. However, in regards to other groups of young people from North Africa, the difference is even more astronomical. Algerian youth feature a rate that is tremendous 56 times higher than Germans. For Moroccans, it's 19 times higher. Differences are also notable across special offensive categories in street crime. Let's see.
It's almost like they're an incompatible culture.
100%.
You know, Watcher said the quote, and it reminded, the first thing that popped into my head was, I've seen things you wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire on the shoulder of Orion. And,
teardrops in the rain. This is a predictable result of migration policy that's been completely failed for decades and has given up all control since 2016 at the latest. Hess has previously requested detailed data on crime rates amongst foreigners, broken down by nationality and age group, in small inquiry in June. This data also needs to be considered from another perspective. Many of these German citizen suspects have a foreign background. However, there's often no way of knowing how many of these suspects have a foreign background because Germany does not record this information. So the idea is that what's the percentage of the German offenders that are actually foreigners or like second generation foreigners, or you know what I mean? So when you peel off ethnic Germans from non-ethnic Germans, do you get an even greater disparity? I think the answer is south side of Chicago. Yeah. All right. At any time these suspects commit a crime, it is recorded as a German suspect. If Germany kept data on the crime rate of German citizens with a foreign background, as Denmark does, it would likely reveal an incredible high crime rate amongst a group of German citizens. This policy has been promoted by the AFD to also to help measure integration rates of foreigners even after generations have resided in Germany. I mean, so that's the argument with that you get a lot of times. Like even multi-generation immigrants have a hard time assimilating into specifically like a fairly homogenous society. You know, I mean, a place like Germany. You know, England, Germany, like you see this thing, like we always joke, Joe, on X, England has fallen. You know, it's like there's always these posts that just kind of go to show how England has given up the ghost. Yet England is still like an 84% white country. I mean, so it's still vastly, a single, general race, European, right? Caucasian, but yet, the very small percentage of the population is absolutely destroying the entire country. And it's amazing how just this incompatibility, Let's see. A principal said, let's see. Let me. Of course, I click off of it and it goes away. Let's see. A principal has sent out a letter to parents of the German school children telling them to ensure their daughters only use well-lit paths and streets when walking to school. Why would they need to do this? This letter comes out after a woman was raped by a Tunisian migrant close to the school. While a number of robberies involving migrants have also taken place in recent weeks. It's almost like the AFD's onto something, and it's absolutely just been caused by, the
There's
social.
a in there, and it's absolutely the one you think it is.
PhD's helicopter tours for $5. I'd like you to cover AI hallucination issues. Apparently, AI makes things up sometimes. No kidding. I've been using AI for small electronics like proximity fuses, guitar effects, and homebrew, oscilloscope, etc. Interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool.
PhD's helicopter tours for $2 says, so far, most of the AI schematics check out and work. I made Tom shots from Boston's guitar pedal with Grok. But I wonder if AI might hallucinate someday and incorrectly design. Yeah. Well, the irony is that what happens if Grok hallucinates something and it works? What the fuck did it even come up with?
So way less of a chance of it doing it with engineering stuff. The hallucinations largely, but not always, have to do around conflicting, shall we say, censorship commands or limiting commands in some cases.
Or it'll come up with like fake, I don't know what
fake,
you call it.
Fake court cases is the big one.
Fake citations and things like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's all I got on this topic. Anything else, guys? I just thought it was I always like to kind of come back to why Europe is not Europe anymore. It is northern. It's northern North Africa.
I think the bat phone just went off.
I think it did. That's Ambry calling. They want to talk about our first segment.
But before we get there, we've got one more. They call themselves Europe. Well, yeah, and it's technically about Europe. Technically, at least they call themselves Europe.
Well, let's be honest. It's Asia with a toe literally dipped into Europe. Meetings underway in Damascus involving Turkey, the U.S., France, Syrian government, and the SDF, affiliated with the YPG PKK. Sources say the YPG PKK will fully withdraw from the Arab majority areas in Syria, like Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor. Kurdish self-rule will be limited to local governance in Kurdish majority areas such as Hasaka. Plans to integrate the SDF fighters into the Syrian army will be revisited and implemented. So this kind of gets to one of the points, Joe, that you've brought up several times with al-Jilani and his al-Qaeda crew that are in charge of Damascus, is that they literally have that western corridor of cities, Homs, down to Damascus and over to the sea. But even in, the Latakia province and all that kind of stuff, they still have a lot of Alawites and problems there. And when you go east, they basically lose the plot as soon as you get to the desert areas east of Damascus. So this would go a long way to help kind of shore up their eastern flank if they could, break bread with the Kurds. And let's be honest, if they basically say, "Listen, Kurds, you run your area, you want to run it, and we'll stay out," that would be a fucking huge win for the Kurds, I think, especially if it fucking gets Turkey out of the mix.
Yeah. But I don't see the Jelani regime actually following through on full integration of the Kurds into their military, because that would mean a lack of control by them.
Yeah, maybe what it ends up looking like is something along the lines of the units in your area.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically regional forces that are under a unified command structure.
Mm-hmm.
Something along, and then maybe like expensive assets like Air Force or whatever, might be national. I don't know. I guess the point is that this is I'll be honest with you. If this goes, if this settles down and Syria becomes a more peaceful place, I think that's good for the Syrian people, but it will also go a long way to prove me wrong, because I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, those Epstein levels of not going to happen.
Well, they're already. I don't even know how far I want to get into talking about that, but yeah.
I'm going to take a victory lap. I told you. Anyway.
Oh, boy.
I won't be insufferable about it. I'll just mention it.
Well, you make a call and you're right about it. You got every right to kind of, remind people. All right. I mean, anything else you think on this, Joe? I mean, likelihood that this actually leads to some a more peaceful place for the Syrian people. What do you think?
The chances of that are zero. The Syrian people are too far divided, and there's a lesson in there.
Yeah. Where do you think the fracture line is?
It's the same place it's always been: ethnic and religious sects.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I think it's not in Turkey's interest to have everything like cleanly settled, unless Turkey is the one pulling the strings.
It's also not in our interest, because if everything gets settled, we have to leave.
Well, I think that's great.
I do too. But we're not going to do everything we can to encourage them to settle everything, because then we don't get to continue to hold land.
Yeah. Yeah, I still don't understand like what the kind of the scenario for why it's a good idea for us to even be there. I think you and I are on the same page, but it's just one of those kind of things that like this is hard to even argue for.
Yeah.
But then again, you and I aren't globalist warmongers, so go figure. I know. We just all right. Anything else on this one, guys? I just thought this was a kind of an interesting development in this area we've been following for quite a while. Interesting stuff continuing to develop there, so we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it goes. I don't think it's gonna end well. I'm with you, Joe, but who knows what'll actually happen. All right. Joe, talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com.
I don't know that I got much to say. It's a busy week here. So we're getting ready for our fine Elvis fundraiser that's coming up this weekend. So I have started, but haven't finished, an article on what I consider the basic. Watcher, you want to kill the silly comments going on? I've got an article on what I consider like the price of entry into the preparedness field. Like the basic skills you absolutely need to have: first aid, swimming, knife, firearms, all that good stuff, so that we can move out and get more people started on training. Come on out to some classes, do some things, and understand that you've got responsibility here. If you don't want to end up like Germany, where the immigrants run everything through threat of violence and fear, It's upon you and us to do it together. Shelby came up with a very interesting idea a few days ago, and this whole idea of being your own search and rescue team is not a bad idea. Create your own search and rescue team so you get out and help in areas like Texas and North Carolina, because the state, quite honestly, is failing miserably at coming to help people. And it gives you a certain amount of legitimacy for your local defense group. So come out and learn the skills to get developed into that. Don't call it a militia. Call it a search and rescue team. One is inherently good. One is inherently not. So what we have on the schedule right now is next weekend we have Fieldcraft. And the week after that, to kick off Shield Field Days, myself and Project 223 Preparedness are going to do a first aid class, basically a remote first aid class where you're learning to do first aid a little bit more advanced than you might in a Red Cross course, because there's no one else coming. You're on your own. Yeah. So we're gonna do that on July 25th, just a one-day class. We've got some folks signed up for that, and then after that, community security. But in August, I've got a week where you can show up and do. If you scroll down, you'll see it on there, where you can show up and do Fieldcraft and community security over 6 days. Then you take a one-day break, and then there is Combatives Weekend. It's like late August, something like the 29th. I mean, the 20, let's see, what's the show there? 24th through the 31st, you could cover all this stuff. 22nd. Get all your classes in. I've got one guy signed up for the whole thing, and I got a couple others that are taking one or the other. But really, if you want to just spend a week out here and get every class done, that's your week right there. Come on out and join us and hang out. Arctic Boy, the first aid is Friday the 25th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's going to be a good time. It's good stuff. So check all that stuff out and come and hang out, man. Just even if you want to just come to Camp Ponderosa and camp, you don't even have to take a class. Just come hang out with us.
Call first.
Huh?
But call first. Don't just show up.
Yeah, but call first. Just don't show up. If you know, you know. Anyway.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
I think I'll be on Tommy's podcast today talking about the leftist crazy agenda. So.
Yeah, dude, I think it should be interesting that show. There's a lot to talk about, and so one of those shows that hopefully I can finally make it on sometime, because I've been listening on and off to that show for the last 3 years. It's I've never really talked to him before, so maybe I should introduce myself. All right. Let's do the Brushbeater ad for today. All right. So today we're diving into Yemen's Houthi attacks and Red Sea shipping and ICE's ongoing raids. And we're proud to bring you another ad for the trusted sponsor, Brushbeater Store, arming you for a world in chaos. Over the last 48 hours, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis have reignited their Red Sea campaign, sinking the Magic Seas on July 6th with drone boats and missiles, and attacking the Eternity Sea on July 7th, killing 2 sailors for the first fatality since June 2024. These strikes aimed at Israeli-linked ships signals a renewed threat to global trade. Here at home, ICE raids in LA, Chicago, San Diego have sparked violent protests, with mobs looting stores and clashing with National Guard troops, fueled by open border radicals. We had an attack on a direct fire attack which led to a death and basically arrest of an entire cell. This stuff is getting serious. So from Houthi drones to domestic riots, you need to stay vigilant. At Brushbeater.store, the handheld drone detection system, battle testing Ukraine, spots threats like those used by the Houthis, protecting your community. The Baofeng DM32 digital radio with AES 256 encryption ensures secure comms across multiple bandwidth when unrest hits. The 2025 Signals Intelligence course, led by Matt, trains you to intercept enemy signals with classes in North Carolina, Missouri, Montana, and more. Check out brushbeater.store/collection/drone-detection or collection/training-courses to gear up now. Use our exclusive code CFC10 at checkout for 5% off drone detectors, digital radios, SIGINT training, and gear like helmets and optics. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Brushbeater.store and prep for the storm. Thanks to Matt for supporting the channel. Head to brushbeater.store, use code CSC10, and stay ready for global and domestic threats. Now, on with the episode.
Well, actually, Matt's teaching SIGINT in Arkansas right now.
Oh.
And I want to point out that there is a YouTube channel called Black Flag Civilian, which is an Antifa channel. And they were talking about encrypted Baofangs, the DM1701 and the DM UV32 or 32 UV. So if your enemy is talking about using a tool, you should probably understand how to use that tool as well.
Well, I tell you, being able to track a drone and communicate securely, two important skills in the modern era. So definitely. All right. Pirates of the Red Sea, gentlemen. Are you ready? Are you ready? So Joe, we were already talking about the Magic Seas ship, right? Was that the name of it?
Yep.
Not so Magic Seas for that ship or the day before yesterday. And then I mentioned this other ship, and you're thinking I'm talking about Magic Seas. I was like, oh, no. This is a new one.
Yeah, it's an early morning for me. You've been up all day.
So. Yeah, that literally happened, I guess, overnight. Maybe it was late yesterday, but the news is just getting out. 5 rescued after suspected attack by Yemen's Houthis on Red Sea vessels. Surge in Red Sea attacks after months of calm potentially signals revival of Houthis' campaign over a Gaza war. 5 crew members have been rescued from a Liberian-flagged cargo vessel in the Red Sea after a suspected attack from Yemen's Houthi group. According to Maritime Monitor, these attacks, the attack is so far known to have killed at least 3 sailors out of 21-member crew and wounded 2. The UK MTO, run by the British military, said, by the way, that stands for United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Center, said on Wednesday that search and rescue operations commenced overnight after Monday's attack on the Greek-owned Eternity Sea. UK MTO said that Tuesday the ship sustained significant damage and lost all propulsion. UK-based security firm Ambry told the AFP news agency that the badly damaged vessel had sunk off of Yemen's port city of Hodeidah, which is under control of the Houthis. The Houthis, who say they are targeting Israel-linked ships as a part of a campaign of solidarity with the Palestinians under relentless Israeli fire to pressure the Israeli military to end its assaults on Gaza, have not claimed responsibility for the attack. However, it came one day after the claimed responsibility for the attack of another cargo ship, the Magic Seas. The assault marks the first attacks on the shipping in Red Sea since late 2024, potentially signaling the start of a new armed campaign threatening the waterway, which has begun to see more traffic in recent weeks. You know what I'd like to see, Joe? I'd like to see the Greek fucking Air Force or Greek Navy get involved. I mean, these are fucking Greek ships. They're Greek-owned. They may be Liberian flag, but they're Greek-owned. These are Greek interests. Why is Greek...
Because the Greek Navy consists mostly of speedboats.
Well, that's true.
So,
wait a second. Are you disparaging the Hellenic Navy? I mean, come on.
Yes, they can go to Hellenic.
Well, I mean, they were pretty. You wouldn't have said that 2,500 years ago, Joe. I mean,
here's the thing: the Hellenic Navy is so busy trying to keep out the Turkish threat that they can't go anywhere. Right.
Now that actually makes sense. Like everything that they got is focused entirely on Turkey and not on and in good reason, because Turkey has been very kind of pushy in the Eastern Mediterranean in recent years. We've seen that around Libya, off Cyprus, which the island that the two countries basically share. Yemen's exile government, let's see, it says the attacks demonstrate the ongoing threat that the Iran Houthi-backed rebels pose, freedom of navigation and regional economy and maritime security. The United States has been clear: we will continue to take necessary action to protect freedom of navigation and commercial shipping from the Houthi terrorist attacks. This is the State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said. The bulk carrier had been heading north towards the Suez Canal when it came under fire by men in small boats and bomb-carrying drones on Monday night. Security guards on board firing their weapons, according to Operation Aspides and Ambry, cited by the Associated Press news agency. So it sounds like to me, Joe, that Ambry was on board when the attack occurred.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a call back from them because I believe that is the case. I'm waiting for their morning update to come out, but I have not seen it yet. If it comes out the show, I'll share it with you.
Yeah. In separate incidents, Israelis military and the Houthis exchanged strikes on Sunday, with Israel saying it bombed 3 ports and a power plant in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen, prompting the Iran-allied group to fire more missiles towards Israeli territory. Israel said it struck the ports of Hodeidah, Ras Isa, and Al Salif on the Red Sea coast, as well as Ras Khatib power plant. It also said it struck a radar system on the Galaxy Leader, which was seized by the Houthis and remains docked in the port of Hodeidah. Yeah, I mean, in other news, water is wet. Joe, I mean, what do you think the kind of the international response should be on this? Is this a we don't need to get involved, or is this a we need to tighten the screws down on these?
No, it seems to be we need to crush the Houthis beneath the poop. Because they're going to continue to do this. That is a critical waterway. It needs to be secured. We need to be able to move goods through it. So something needs to happen here.
Well, the funny thing is, Joe, is you and I have been kind of classically against a lot of these interventionist kind of things that the United States government typically does in the area. Great example being what we were referring to with Syria. But this is an example of where we actually do have a responsibility to kind of get involved, if you will. What are the limits on that, do you think? I mean,
I'm not advocating regime change or anything like that. I'm saying make the empty quarter again. Right?
Yeah.
I honestly think that just destroying every time they move in any piece of military equipment, destroying it, smashing it to 1,000 pieces, and teach them there is a price to be paid. I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's not so much regime change is not our business, right? Our business is just kind of making sure people are safe, and if people are safe, then we go away.
They move anything larger than a pickup truck, you smash it. So,
all right, let's move on to the next one here. So this kind of refers to that UMTO website that you shared with us, Joe. These are all recent incidents. And so this is, let's see, attack UK TMO, and it has a number. This is I guess this is
the new one.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading through it first. All right, it says here, UK has received several third-party reports of an incident 51 nautical miles west of Al Hudaydah A merchant vessel has been attacked by multiple rocket-propelled grenades from small aircraft. The company's security officer reports the vessel has been attacked by 5 rocket-propelled grenades and is being approached by multiple small crafts. Update. The vessel has sustained significant damage and has lost all propulsion. The vessel is surrounded by small craft under continuous attack. Search and rescue operations commenced. This is on the 9th of July, so the next day. 5 crew members have been rescued and searches continue for those remaining. Authorities are investigating. The vessels are advised to transit with caution and report any suspicious activity. But if you go down here further on the list, it's got several other incidents going back to the 4th of July. And then even into, June. So clearly there are actions occurring in these areas relatively frequently.
So the difference is the Magic Seas, they evacuated early and everyone is fine. And on this one, they did not evacuate early and we have dead people. There's a lesson there.
Yeah.
Take action early rather than waiting.
And speaking of the Magic Seas, this is the Magic Seas right here in this video. Let's share the next one, watcher, and we'll watch this video.
Oh,
this is
got it.
Well, what's ironic is I think that's a Starlink right next to those fucking terrorists. Like when he walks up, you'll see it. Like, yeah, it's right in front of him. Isn't that a Starlink?
I don't know if it's actually Starlink. I believe that's AIS.
Oh, is that maybe AIS?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a radio thing.
Yes, so is Starlink.
I don't know. But I didn't think AIS was satellite.
Yeah, it's satellite.
Oh, okay. So this is the Magic Seas, and they basically took it over and set charges all the way around it, and sunk it. I think there was a longer video that actually showed them trying to do their kind of like clearance operation, trying to get all sexy Hollywood on us. But this is the important part.
Why does that even make sense?
You can look really cool doing a clearing video on a ship that's already been vacated.
Exactly right.
Well, I was meaning, why sink it though? I mean, why not hold it for ransom or literally anything? Like I don't see what this gets you other than a lot of people trying to kill you.
I mean, trying to understand these people is probably a losing proposition. It's just best just to get rid of them. And Joe's meditating and praying on getting rid of them.
No, I'm trying to think of the name of those lifeboats that automatically deployed there.
Oh yeah, the ones, the circle ones, the orange circles. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, can't think of the name of them, but it's an automatic system. That's why those lifeboats deployed like that.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. Uptick in activity. Okay, so yes, we should hammer them. I don't know that we will. Israel hit them over the weekend. Where do you think this goes, Joe? Because nobody's fucking doing boots on the ground in Yemen. Do you think there's any chance that anybody, whether it's U.S. or the Israelis,
Saudi
take our advice?
Really has boots on the ground there, as does the UAE.
Yeah, the southern portion.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know that anybody else does. The Europeans will just smash everything to pieces, which is what I think really should happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right there. We are flying through these topics. Anything else on the pirate situation off the Djibouti coast?
I'm
just.
What now? What'd you say?
I'm just trying to work Djibouti into it somehow. All right. I got nothing else on that one. Let's move on, shall we? This next segment is all about ICE and what their ongoing mission. Let me be honest with you. I got a little worried when I heard about this. We're going to talk about this later, but I got a little worried when I heard about the amnesty stuff the other day. But everything seems to be going pedal to the metal with these ICE raids. You know, I haven't really paid any attention to Alligator Alcatraz because it seems to be more of a kind of a distraction of anything. But
yeah,
I'll
give the fucking Florida credit, man. That thing is going up fast. I saw pictures of it.
Listen, my favorite thing to do with Alligator Alcatraz, I highly encourage the rest of you to do the same thing. I've been looking into zero official news sources. I have only been listening to what the leftists are screaming insanely at each other about it, and then just taking it all at face value. So I can't wait for the human incinerators to show up, and I mean, oh my god, it's amazing. It's utterly amazing. It rivals any of the entertainment you might have got from watching Q people just fly off the handle during 2020.
Yeah, I would just send a truckload of coffins there just for fun.
Yes, the FEMA coffins. Yes. We need an open outdoor stockpile storage of those. Yeah, for sure. Oh, it's the best.
For me, I just want to see like I want to see like constant aerial surveillance of it, where you see the actual alligators in the water surrounding the prison. That's what I want to see, like drone shots. I think that would be amazing.
Look, JRH, of course it would be. Look, we're not talking logic here. We're talking leftists that are like, my friend just got a contract to install incinerators at Alligator Alcatraz. I mean, yeah, there's not really a trash delivery service, so they have to burn their trash. No, it's for people.
Yeah, yeah. Soylent Green is people, right? All right. Moving on. Alligator Alcatraz. Not on the topic list today, by the way. But you know,
I love it.
Here we go. CBP's Greg Bovino to leftist LA mayor. Get used to us. We're not leaving. I absolutely support these federal law enforcement administrators absolutely getting in the face of leftist, kind of local authoritarians. Los Angeles has become ground zero for the showdown between the far left mayor, Karen Bass, and the Trump administration over the removal of criminal illegal aliens. Bass, backed by a Democratic Party, increasingly not dominated by radical progressives and even open Marxists, see the New York City mayor race, has helped create a toxic and dangerous climate of defiance towards federal immigration enforcement, emboldening threats against federal agents as evidenced by the color revolution against ICE agents in Los Angeles last month. This is the same party that under the Biden-Harris regime enabled or outright facilitated the border invasion, now being reversed through large-scale deportation outflows. The Trump administration is preparing to ramp up deportations to 3,000 per day, or roughly 1 million per year. And now, from a judicial lawfare in courtrooms to color revolution-style riots in the streets, Democrats are enraged by the Trump's deportation drive, one set to shift into high gear following the recent passage of the Big Beautiful Bill, which allocates critical funding to the Department of Homeland Security. Mayor Bass's defiance has been on full display. Let's play this. Let's listen to this fucking idiot so we can get a better idea of the stupidity that we're up against.
Well, I call it a political stunt. If you want to call it a dog and pony show, go right ahead. Same thing.
With this going on for more than a month now, are you starting to feel like you're not even in control of the situation, or is there a feeling of helplessness?
No, I will never feel helpless, and I don't think anybody here feels helpless. That's not in. We're going to continue fighting.
Summer of resistance. Started the summer.
He's calling for you to get used to it.
I'm not going to get used to it. I'm not going to get used to it because last I checked, I was elected to be mayor of the city. That did not include a federal takeover. So either you believe in democracy or you don't.
I will tell you that her comments are dangerously close to sedition and seditious conspiracy. And her appearance, where she went out there shouting at them to get out of there, and that was actually arrestable. So she needs to be very careful.
Yeah.
Mayor Bass, can you at least explain your purpose for the
So this is who did he put her on the phone with?
The chief, whoever the head of border patrol is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he basically tells her to GTFO. Don't care. Lump it.
We don't care.
Let's see. Let's see this next incompetent clip of Mayor Bass. I just love the fact that her name is Karen. She is literally Mayor Karen.
She's literally a Karen.
Absolutely. As soon as they stop marching troops that disrupt our kids in parks. Yes. And then you know, Pete, I mean, there's conversations that happen in public, and then there's other conversations too. What did you say?
This was not, since you said nobody was arrested, and I didn't determine if anyone was arrested or not. This looked purely like it was reconnaissance. They were all through the area.
You don't need troops to do that. And by the way, how about using undercover folks or drones? They really needed to use all of that military equipment as reconnaissance?
Yeah,
Joe, I didn't see a whole lot of military equipment out there.
Same thing.
I mean, I didn't see tanks, APCs, IFVs, even MRAPs. I didn't even see those out there.
Well, she's a renowned military tactical expert, as you know.
That's true. Kind of her and Michael Tracy, the Armor Vehicle Guide by Karen Bass and Michael Tracy for the Second Civil War. That would be a really funny book.
She's a tank. Sorry.
All right.
It's crazy.
All right, let's hear a little more of this moron.
With this going on for more than a month now, are you starting to feel like you're not even in control of the situation, or is there a feeling of helplessness?
No, I will never feel helpless.
Yeah, after
right.
that,
we've heard that. Yeah. All right. So the next one is actually, I like this next clip. It's shorter, but it's worth hearing it from the horse's mouth. This guy's CBP.
It's not leaving LA. I don't.
He's Border Patrol.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, this guy's Border Patrol, so I mean, this guy's like an actual on the ground kind of guy. So this is CBP Sector Chief Greg Bovino to Mayor Karen Bass.
The federal government is not leaving LA. I don't work for Karen Bass. The federal government doesn't work for Karen Bass. We're going to be here till that mission's accomplished, as I said, and better get used to us now, because this is going to be normal very soon.
Said as he stands in front of an M1 battle tank, I think that is right behind him.
I'm of mixed feelings here. I'm all about enforcing the law, but I'm also not about using the militarized police to beat civilian government into submission. So,
unless you're a socialist, then you probably need to be actually literally beaten in the street.
No, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We don't cheer on police state tools used against our enemies, because they will eventually be turned on you.
Will the Black Hawk that we take off with the communists then be used against us, hopefully?
Yes.
I guess not. Potentially it could be, yes. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. Here's his comments on the So this is okay. So this is a good segue actually, because we're gonna go into I think it's the next one. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is a good segue to the next topic we're going to talk about in this.
There's an insurrectionist movement in the Democratic Party that is inspiring domestic terrorism against ICE. When you have the mayor of Los Angeles mobilizing agitators, mobilizing the mob against ICE, saying that federal law enforcement has to leave her city. This is a settled constitutional question. Federal law is the supreme law of the land. You cannot nullify it. You cannot succeed from it. It is the law of the United States of America. So these insurrectionist Democrats are every day engaging in rhetoric that is incentivizing, that is encouraging, that is fomenting violent terrorist attacks against ICE and ICE officers. Not only in the shootings that you've seen recently, but ICE officers are being doxxed. Their families and children are being threatened. Their addresses are being posted online. They are being subjected to a campaign of terror by these radical Democrats.
So, well said, I think. That's the problem, right? Is that when the political leaders get involved in what is essentially an insurgency, kind of like, how do you end up drawing the line? I mean, okay, she's not shooting guns at us, so yes, she's not a literal insurgent, but she's definitely probably her words get very close to sedition when she supports these groups.
Just walking the line.
Well, I'd be very curious to see where her funding and the funding she's in charge of being able to direct has been going.
100%.
Because
it's almost like anybody who takes any money from X group is just kind of guilty by bank account.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I was meaning more in the material support for terrorism. And hey, if you fund and shield a terrorist network, are you not ipso facto at least part of that network?
Well, yeah, and that's the difference between, like, for instance, the more specific crimes and the more general ones like treason or sedition or something along those lines.
There's a direct line between her rhetoric and Gavin Newsom's rhetoric and the next two stories we're about to talk about.
Yeah. Speaking of material support of operations, Hunchy Dirty Roofer for $5 says, guys, a way to fund Alligator Alcatraz is to name each of the guard gators, then partner with Animal Planet to do a TV show on them. This is snuffy. Keep conversations. Not a fan of Mexicans. Now.
You're fired.
Look, I've told you guys the way you want to do this. You want to fund it. You basically you put the guys in charge of Fish Tank in charge of it. You set up live streams around the whole thing, and then you set up toys to let viewers screw with the contestants for large amounts of money, or prisoners. But yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next story here. So this is Joe, one of your good buddies. One of your buddies, Mike Shelby. I think this guy's had a lot of smart things to say over the years, and this is just another great example of that. So this is something that we talked about Monday and I think Friday as well. But this is the incident that we talked about. I think it either just happened on, was it?
Yeah, it was happening.
It happened the night before.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, we just got information about it like right towards the end of the show, if I remember correctly. So for the first time in nearly a decade, tracking the far left, so this is a thread by Mike Shelby. So I'm just going to read his thread. So just, this is where I'm getting it from. I recommend Gray Zone Intel on X. Go follow him. Good information. He's one of the good guys and sees the world in a similar way that we do. He says, we just witnessed a coordinated complex ambush by a far left direct action cell, and the media is silent on its implications. Here's what you need to know, and then here's his thread. Last Friday, 8 to 10 individuals launched fireworks and vandalized an ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, to draw a law enforcement presence. A 911 call was made. Multiple shooters opened fire, at least one in a tree line, wounding an arriving officer. Yeah, so this is the incident we talked about on Monday. Now, there was another incident where an individual was killed, and that was the one that was developing. Let's see. These kinds of shooting are normally conducted by individuals. What we see here are 10 militants with an 11th co-conspirator forming a cell, selecting a target, and carrying out a coordinated complex attack. Armed far-left violence is not uncommon, but this is unprecedented. What this shows is an operational evolution from individuals acting out of uncontrolled rage to coordinated cell-based violence. Now, this precedent has been set. Where do we go from here? He says most likely course of action is continued attacks involving 1 to 3 shooters. Larger groups will be exponentially more difficult to coordinate. And there aren't enough far-left militants to keep getting rolled up by the dozen. Far-left militants will see the relative failure of this attack against a hard target and simply choose softer targets in the future. The availability of federal agents' personal information through online doxing increases this likelihood. The most dangerous course of action is that this attack opens a Pandora's box of other armed leftist groups attempting to successfully carry out similar relatively large-scale attacks against federal facilities. Another possible course of action, the relative failure of the attack and swift response by federal authorities diminishes the likelihood of future armed organized political violence. It's a bit counter narrative, but we've seen that felonies work.
The only part I disagree with. I think that it'll actually encourage more because other groups will want to show that they can actually do it right. And I want to remind everyone that the actual ambush that happened on Friday was a success strategically, even though it was a tactical loss.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, they hit their target, made contact, and got away. The arrests that were made on Friday, none of them were the actual shooters. They didn't get rolled up until yesterday.
Yeah.
So
right. The shooters didn't. Yeah, that was the thing. The shooters got away on the day. The Georgia RICO case is a great example. After 61 far-left militants were charged under the RICO Act, some with domestic terrorism, the Stop Cop City movement folded. They deleted their website and stopped most operations because they didn't have the people. If these 10 individuals and 11th co-conspirator had a successful attack and escape, then future attacks would become immensely more likely because of the belief the likelihood of success. But this attack was not successful. These 10 individuals, each being charged with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal agent, which carries a mandatory 10-year prison sentence. This will reduce the likelihood of similar size attacks, though not to zero. The Alvarado ambush is a watershed moment for this country and our ongoing low-intensity conflict. We will almost certainly continue to see armed political violence against federal facilities and or personnel. RICO works. I'll post my take on RICO below. So that's his last.
Literally a modern day Harper's Ferry, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Joe. So most of the attackers were women. I'm telling you, woke white women are the greatest threat to America that we have today.
Malcolm X was not wrong.
All right, real quick, I just want to try Andy No because he's usually pretty on top of his finger on the pulse of these types of Antifa deals.
Go. Very funny.
Let's see. All right, so they'll be charged with terrorism and attempted murder for allegedly. So, Joe, I mean, it's like what you and I have been saying for a long time. There is terrorist attacks occurring in America every week. And in fact, last week, essentially, we had 2. We had the one at the beginning of the week, like, what was it, Sunday night or whatever. And then at the end of the week, we had this one. So literally 2 direct fire terror attacks in 1 week. What was it? It was the ambush on the police or the firefighter. Did we ever get any more information about that?
Hold on real quick. Is this confirmed?
Yes.
Okay,
it
so
doesn't surprise me.
that confirms the theory that I've had for a long time. They use that as a peg of mental illness to try and figure out who's the most unstable, and then they groom those people in order to commit the worst of the felonies and the violent actions. Part of that has to do with the fact that those people have already committed that they're not going to be passing on their genetics.
I think it's more. Somebody just hit on it. Arctic Boy just hit it. It's more hero worship of each other. They're going to become martyrs for the cause, and they're going to make this go wild. And I think you're absolutely right, Watcher. They're grooming out the craziest ones they have because they can goad them into action. It's the same thing that happens with active shooters, right? The federal government. Somebody finds these people and gives them a target and sends them out there. I didn't accidentally say the federal government, but somebody.
Yeah. No, that's it exactly. I my point on that was it's probably not how they view it themselves. You're probably right. Like there's probably a hero worship sort of cult for all these weirdos that have done it before.
The worship of Luigi Mangione is big on the left, just as we predicted it would be. That's a great point, by the way. The trans are Antifa's version of the berserkers or immortals.
Right.
It's absolutely true.
Well, they're so thoroughly broken as people. Like, what do they have left to lose?
And so susceptible to manipulation.
100%.
Drug cocktails that they're taking.
Well, they're pot committed, right? It's like, it's a sunk cost fallacy. Why not just go down with the ship? So this is interesting here. Anti-ICE protesters, Antifa and far-left extremists are using Give, Send, Go to raise cash for the Give, Send, Go. Isn't that the Christian? Give, Send, Go to raise cash for the domestic terror Antifa suspects allegedly involved in the ambush shooting on the ICE facility. All the donors have been anonymous so far, with some contributing substantial amounts. The extremists are using Give, Send, Go because GoFundMe has a policy of not allowing fundraisers for those accused of violent crimes. Interesting.
Which they recently started enforcing both ways. Sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see. Peter State's Helicopters for $1 says there was a dude who stupidly took on a Bortax solo last week. Yeah. Well, yeah, that guy ended up plotted in the ground.
Got fitted for a fine box.
That's he followed his hero Van Spronson. Got folded like a wet paper napkin.
I'll tell you too. The Michigan man who launched yesterday's attack, they say he's from Ludington. I looked at the photo, and his last name is Mosqueda. I'm pretty sure he's probably from Dearborn. I'm just laying that out there. He might have moved to Ludington, but that dude's from Dearborn. So,
all right, we've got if you're on YouTube or Rumble, feel free to hit the like button. We are very much under-supported this morning.
And listen, everyone who told me over the last couple of days that the Latin phrase the guy put on his car, it's because he was a Call of Duty fan. Don't be maligning Call of Duty. This guy's a rabid leftist. He just used something from Call of Duty. It's not Call of Duty that made this guy go and shoot up ICE, Border Patrol. It was his leftist ideology.
What was the phrase that he put on?
Cordis die.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Do we want to do the Chicago one real quick?
Yeah. Let's do this. So just kind of showing what some of these operations look like at various different parts of the country. This is ICE in Chicago.
You were commenting on the drip before.
Yeah. There's definitely a drip to these ICE guys.
Because they were probably all out on the street doing enforcement operations when this happened, so they just threw on their kit over over what they were wearing.
Right. Nobody knew they were ICE until they basically pulled their shit out of their vehicles.
Yeah.
Nobody cared who I was until I put on the vest.
One of the problems that we've been having here is that they're in these big cities, these big leftist places like Chicago and LA and Seattle, Portland. Whenever there is a ICE operation, it basically is getting, they get on their social networks and say, get to this place right now. And the idea is they have these kind of quick reaction flash mobs that they're able to mobilize in these leftist strongholds very quickly.
About that too. That's because there are lists of phone numbers available for them to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
They're way more organized than everyone wants to think. And I know everyone wants to make fun of ICE, or make fun of the left and say, well, they launched this ambush and they only shot one cop and blah, blah, blah. But hey, they actually launched an ambush, right? They're out there training. They're actually willing to put their life on the line. And I'm not saying that from a hero worship thing. It's you got to respect that and understand what the threat level is to you if they're willing to do that. If they're willing to fight ICE, they're absolutely willing to kill you.
I'm hearing that the following that I'm about to put on screen is San Francisco this morning.
No, that's actually that was yesterday, but yes.
Okay.
That was San Francisco, but it was yesterday.
So the idea is they go in for an operation. They're transporting either somebody from the jail or from some other facility. It could be a raid or whatever. And then these cells of Antifa show up to get in these physical confrontations. Now, I see a lot of assault against federal police officers going on in this. Like every one of those pushes against them is literally an assault. And so if they got really aggressive in enforcement, especially if they identified people as, say, Antifa as a RICO kind of, linking it to the whole cop city and all that kind of stuff, then, I mean, you could start putting people away for some serious time very quickly. And a lot of this ideological kind of convictions that they have would go away pretty damn quick if they were looking down the barrel of a 20-year sentence for something. I mean, if you can break the mob with RICO, you can break Antifa. You just have to be
United States government Dodge Caravan.
Yeah, I know. That's what's keeping Dodge afloat. I think is all the
law enforcement vehicle sales. Yeah. They do make roll-up vehicles, though.
I was gonna say that Caravanner's got a door gunner on it, though.
Yeah, if you see a Dodge Caravan with the 2 doors, it's generally going to be a federal law enforcement vehicle.
Hold up, I can't not do this. Born too early or too late to be a door gunner in Vietnam on a helicopter in Vietnam. Born too early to be a door gunner on the space shuttle, born just in time to be a door gunner on an ICE caravan. Dodge Caravan.
All right, so Joe, your Woods.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the wheelchair now, though, unfortunately, in the most recent one. Hudson dies. Is it Mason that dies? I can't remember. I can't keep. Those are all the the Black Ops character from Vietnam.
The Black Ops lore.
Dude, I tell you what, man, that was probably my favorite as far as the storylines in Call of Duty go. Black Ops was definitely my favorite storyline. I mean, there's some pretty gritty shit in there, and because it goes back to the old Cold War. There was an actual villain in it. All right. The numbers watcher, what do they mean? Yeah. Watcher, you are a crazy person that hears the numbers and sees the numbers. I just see the numbers everywhere. They're red. Hudson from Aliens. No, I think
Pepper ball cannon on a swivel. Oh, give him the old 3-inch. JRH, we may need to do some development.
When you said give him the old 3-inch, I thought we were talking about something else. My bad.
We will once again run out the 3-inch pepper ball guns, boys.
All right.
Well, at least there's good news on that front, though, right? You can probably still sign up to be an ICE Dodge Caravan door gunner, because amnesty's off, boys. Deportations are back on the menu.
Well, and with all the money that DHS is giving to ICE in the new bill, I mean, ICE is going to have a bigger budget than the Marine Corps? Is that what I heard?
That's actually not hard to do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
When everyone was talking about that, I'm like, that's actually not a flex. That doesn't mean they're getting a lot of money. I'm sorry. Oh well.
Yeah. All right. Trump administration walks back amnesty suggestion, says mass deportation will continue. So there's some interesting stuff on this. Watcher, you were saying that you had heard that maybe this might have been part of the negotiation to get the big, beautiful bill passed. And as soon as it gets passed, he's like, not so much.
Yeah, I heard it at the time that it happened. That this was that basically Bacon needed something to take home to his crowd and crow about. That, oh look, we've saved all these farmers for my not necessarily my constituents, but my big donors back home in the Midwest. And once the bill was signed, that's not happening. What I have heard is that for agricultural workers specifically, the plan looks something kind of like this. They're essentially turning to the farmers and saying, yes, we actually are serious. You have to either get legal immigrants or you need to hire U.S. people for this. However, unlike a lot of other places like meatpacking plants and what have you, we're not just going to come raid your farm until after X date. You have until X date to secure real workers.
But I understand that, but here's the problem. These companies have been allowed to hire the illegals for way too long. $5,000 a day violation. Well, why have we not been enforcing it all along?
And this isn't the local horse farmer that has like an illegal immigrant
working in Tyson chicken plant. That's a massive corporation.
Right. It are these giant agribusiness farms that have nothing, it's these, and let's be honest, these strawberry, kind of farms that, it's just a family farm. Yeah. It's a family farm of 10,000 acres. That is a tens of $1 million farm, probably $100 million farm. This is not the, 45 acres that, truck garden with where you got a little John Deere itsy bitty tractor to kind of do your plowing on, and you hire a day laborer from time to time to mend the roof or something in your barn. This isn't that. This is corporate operations. Let's see. Trump himself commented saying, we're going to give farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty, which for me, that was the one thing I'm like, okay, all right. So, talk me off the ledge, and he did. Hunt's 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that, please?
Yeah, this morning we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland, but obviously this president's vision of no amnesty, mass deportation continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor that they need. Secretary Chavez-DeRimmer has been a leader on this. Obviously, this comes out of the Labor Department, but moving toward automation, ensuring that our farmers have that workforce, and moving toward an American workforce. So all of the above.
We give the farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. There's no amnesty.
All right. Let's see. So modernity.news, Steve Watson detailed earlier, in the face of growing criticism from the MAGA base, the Trump administration is now walking back previous suggestions that some illegal aliens, specifically those working on farms or in hospitality, could be protected from deportation. As we previously highlighted, Trump made remarks last week in Iowa indicating that he is considering protecting some illegals in order to help farmers who are relying on them for labor. You had cases where, not here, but just even over the years, where people have had who have worked on a farm for 14, 15 years, and then they get thrown out pretty viciously. We can't do it, Trump asserted. Trump credited the Secretary Brooke Rollins for the idea, stating, "You're the one who brought this whole situation up." Even the most ardent Trump supporters quickly responded that this isn't what they voted for and represents amnesty. Now Rollins has responded in a press briefing stating, "I can't underscore enough that there will be no amnesty. The mass deportation will continue, but in a strategic way." So it makes sense to me that if you can only deport 1 million people, let's say that's the arbitrary number, and there are 20 million illegal immigrants, maybe you don't go after the most productive illegal immigrants first. You go after the ones that are doing the most damage, maybe the ones in urban areas that are easiest to find. But you're right, Joe. I think basically saying, hey, listen, TikTok, we're going to be coming by your farm on X date, and if anybody who's not working on a legal work permit is getting on the bus and headed south.
I've got a prepared statement on the topic of whether or not we should give even temporary amnesty to illegals. It is this: no.
Yeah. I think amnesty is. See, the irony is amnesty means that you don't have to leave; you can stay, right? And so that's clearly not going to happen. It sounds like.
Yeah, Matt L., you're exactly right. I'm not giving them amnesty, but they can stay. That's called amnesty. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. It might not be legal amnesty, but it is, in fact, amnesty.
Yeah, it's de facto amnesty. That's right. Yeah, I mean, so for me, if it's prioritization of who goes first, then I can see the logic there. But if it's giving somebody grace because of something they're doing here, that I don't buy into that.
Here's the problem with that. Of all of the ways to enter the U.S., entering as a seasonal agricultural worker is the easiest thing in the world.
Legally, yeah.
You literally fill out a couple sheets of paper and they let you right in. So for you to come in illegally and then do it, that tells me that you don't want to be paying taxes. That's the honest truth, right? So
and these comments brought justified questions and comments. What does she mean by strategic? What does strategic mean regarding deportations? All illegals must be deported. Sounds like PC double talk when it comes to deportation. Are they going to just ignore the people they wanted to get amnesty for and selectively choose who to enforce the law? When she says strategic way, I think she means in a way that won't cause complete chaos for communities. The illegals will go. That said, Brooke may want to clarify the word strategic. Yeah, that's probably true.
So J-Sup raises a great point. How in the world did the Pilgrims farm without cheap labor? Interesting. But here's the thing. You have to look at this not as an individual standalone issue, but let's look at everything over the last week. Ukraine funding turned back on, and even more than before. There is the Epstein list, and then there is this. You were sold a false bill of goods. And good point, you Arctic boy. Enter as a Khalistani trucker and you're good to go. That's 100% true.
That's pretty much it on this one, though. She goes on to talk about in the same press conference how they're going to stand up against Chinese ownership of farmland and things like that. Let's just give her. Let's see which. Let's hear that last video. And we'll call it a day after that one.
But we're not hearing it.
Yeah. Are you not sharing the audio?
Today, we are taking this purpose and our American farmland back. American agriculture is not just about feeding our families, but about protecting our nation and standing up to foreign adversaries who are buying our farmland, stealing our research, and creating dangerous vulnerabilities in the very systems that sustain us. Reshoring and nearshoring our food and agriculture supply chain is essential for our nation's security. In coordination with the White House, the Departments of Treasury, Defense, Homeland Security, and Justice, as well as state governors, state agriculture commissioners, local, tribal, and territorial governments, today we announced the USDA's National Farm Security Action Plan. This plan includes 7 key action items, and there's a lot of people here that I want you to hear from, so I'm not going to go one by one, but just very quickly. It's on our website. The press has gotten a preview of it, and we can ask some questions once we finish the main program. But very quickly, and perhaps the most important, the first of the 7 is securing and protecting American farmland ownership. Actively engaging at every level of government to take swift legislative and executive action to ban the purchase of American farmland by Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries. Standing on the shoulders of great governors, 3 of whom are standing behind me, who have already been leading the way on this.
So,
Bill Gates,
I think this is
included in that.
What's that?
And Bill Gates should be included in that.
Oh, 100%.
Adversary.
Yeah, 100%. No, the irony here is that, I mean, she's absolutely right. But it's not just there. Yeah, there's a lot more to that issue than just Chinese buying farmland near strategic U.S. sites. Isn't the largest isn't the largest ranch in Texas now foreign owned? Didn't I hear that?
Sure.
I don't know. It sounds concerning to me, though. All right, guys. I'd like to think that we didn't. It's not a lack of content today. It's just an abundance of efficiency, I think. It is an hour and 38 minutes. Gentlemen, what else we need to talk about before we say good morning to the chat?
Well, let's talk a little bit about Shield Field Days on the way out.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Shield Field Days is coming up on the July 25th to the 27th. So feel free to come on out here. There's no cost this year. Just come and hang out. We're going to have lots of vendors out there. Hunch is going to put in an appearance. Hunch, we know that if you decide to stop in, say, Bozeman on your way up here, we know that you are just fishing for BBLs. So that's fun. But come and check it out. We're going to have a lot of good things here. Angry American, a few others are here. And I got a commitment on Monday from T from Mountain Readiness that he will be out here next year at Mountain Readiness. It's too short a notice this year, but next year he will be here, bringing his some of his people with him. So make sure you get out there and join each other. Haley Shane is going to be out here. Your Arctic Boy, a whole bunch of people will be here, and that's pretty awesome. So make plans. Come on out. It's a weekend. I think Natalie is even considering coming out again. That's good. And Scott, if you get back in time, you need to join us at Mountain Readiness. I will, if you're going to be going to Mountain Readiness in North Carolina in October, I will be doing a class on land navigation there, just a 1-hour little intro thing. And I will be giving a Sunday service at Mountain Readiness. So come on out and join us and hang out at some of these events. Scott, you need to plan that whole 2-week period of Mountain Readiness, Fieldcraft, Scout, Recce. We need to get you out in the field doing what you used to do as a young lad.
I know it's been a long time since I've properly flexed my infantry muscles. So,
besides, it'll be in North Carolina, so you can also.
Yeah, I might have to get you to negotiate with my wife over the whole thing.
I don't know, but being retired for a little bit, she might be like, no, go somewhere else.
Yeah, get away from me. Like I think I could use it as a networking event. Like there may be people there that could potentially hire me, you know, as I'll be looking for work probably by that point. All right. Gentlemen, that's all I've got. Watcher, Joe, thank you very much. Chat, you've been awesome. Oh, wait a second. Round the horn real quick. Joe, we still got a little bit of time left for more terrorist attacks this week. Any thoughts on what you think we might see next?
I think that we're going to see more of these updates and I mean more of these copycats on the leftist attacks on ICE. We're going to see that continue to ramp up. There weren't a whole lot of No Kings protests, although there was one just yesterday in Kalispell, Montana, several days off from when they were supposed to be. So I would watch for more leftist activity going on. But we also haven't really seen an Iranian response to anything. So is there still the potential for an asymmetric Iranian response within the homeland? I think so.
Yeah, that's a great. That's No Kings kind of like just didn't even happen hardly, did it?
No, it
like
went literally nothing.
Yeah. So and it's not that there wasn't money behind it. It literally just kind of petered out. And so, I mean, there was this obligatory shit going on in like Portland, but that was way more Antifa focused stuff. Watcher, what about you? Anything?
Yeah, look, I just say that they tend to iterate. Their last actually like 5 or 6 attacks that they've all tried to pull off this way have all been miserable failures in which none of their targets were, I won't say harmed, because 2 police officers did get harmed in these last 2, but they haven't killed anyone, and it's been like multiple attackers to try and harm 1 police officer. So I'd look for a new iteration of this to pop up soon.
Yeah, it's. I think you're right about that. I do have one thing to mention. On July 30th, I think that's a Wednesday. Let me look at the calendar real quick. I just want to make sure I get the day correct. Yeah, Wednesday, July 30th. We're gonna have some special guests on the show. We're going to have Steve Tarani and Steve Lieberman, the authors of The Sword and Quill. That's Wargates, Wargates Publishing. They do the Land and Sea series. They do Mark's books, and they're coming on. It's a nonfiction book. I haven't read it. I've got the copy so I can read it and be a little smart on it before I talk to these guys. It'll be with Joe and Watcher, so we'll do the show with him, and what we'll do is we'll do like the first half of the show. We talk about the book, and then we'll invite them to stay as long as they have time for. We'll kind of get basically a 2-segment show out of. So basic first hour is the book, and second hour would be some topics. So looking forward to having them on. That's July 30th. Guys, I'll send you the copy so you could read it as well. I've done a little browse on it, and it absolutely, Joe, I mean, you're going to love this. I mean, here's some of the chapter names, right? Mastery at skill at arms, the critical importance of training, prevailing in real-world violent altercation. Part 2, what is the professionalism at arms? If you go to guns, you failed. The attack cycle, source of human rights. And so some really good kind of practical understanding of the philosophy of our rights under the Second Amendment. And so looking forward to kind of drilling into this one. Should be a lot of fun. And, unlike Sibley, I bet when they say they've got another book coming out, it'll probably actually come out on time. Instead of talking other people into writing short stories for you.
That reminds me. I know that we showed it, but my short story is out in Apocalypse in Pieces Part 2. So go buy that.
Is that out already?
I believe it. I'll check Amazon real quick, but I believe it. It might out. Oh, it's only out at Wargate. Let's go look. Wargate Books. Let's put Apocalypse. Yes. Oh, it's out in ebook right now. It'll be out in hardcover shortly.
Very cool. Very cool.
And I want to hold on. I have to. We have to do
ahead.
this. I'm going to share the screen. I have to point out this really. This is a Sibley thing. So we got that up on the screen. I'm not sure why I am underneath Mark Sibley directly, but there I am. So anyway, check that out, and then let me know if you think I should do some more. If I should do some more fiction writing. You don't get to answer, Scott, because I already know your answer. So
I'm just saying, if I could talk to the chat about what you and I have talked about, I'm sure they would be absolutely on board. So I'm just saying.
Right on. And Jay Supp points out that Lieutenant Colonel Bennett, a member of the show, a member of the Council Emeritus, has a new book out too that features. It features a trio of men who run a secret camp in the middle of the woods in Montana. Led by the Eldar, who bears a striking resemblance to Stan, Brushbeater, and Joe, who train at the camp. So it's a very good book. So
yeah, looking forward to checking that one out. All right, gentlemen, that's all I've got. I appreciate your time today. I know it's valuable, and I always respect it. Chat, same. You guys do a lot to support the channel, so thank you very much. Hunter for $2. Scott Shell Shock Nan 67, way better game and story. All right, I will definitely check that out. I've never heard of that. So, all right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for being here. I returned to you 12 minutes of your time extra today. Thank you for being here, and as always, stay safe.